Hi, hello. Welcome to another episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is May the 31st, 2024. Hopefully, this episode finds you well, in good spirits, and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Happy Friday to ya. Hopefully, the vibe carries. If you're not listening to this on a Friday, that's okay. That's all right. Hopefully, you're taking this Friday force with you. But let's see here. Work? How was work today? It was good. I will say I definitely had one of those days, and maybe it's just because it was my first Friday back in a month, even though this is still a 4-day week. I just got antsy. I felt so bored. My last hour was just so terrible. It was bleh. But that was just a mental thing, not so much the actual day. The day was fine. It was good. No worries. No problems. Still dealing with some cardboard issues, and that's no fun. But overall, we're making the best of a bad situation. And so that's good, right? Let's see. Food corner from last night. What did we eat? I had burger, hot dogs, fries, and some tots. It was yummy. It was good. Nice little classic staple. Let's see here. Excuse me. There's really not much else to report on the me stuff. So we can go ahead and do our startup and we can get right into it. All right. Yeah, that sounds good. Feels good. Feels all right. All right. Oui. Oh, I will say, I got a nice compliment from my friend about the pod, and I thought that was really nice and very sweet. So, just wanted to mention that. That I know I usually say all the sappy stuff at the end of an episode, but just so that y'all know that whenever I get these kind of messages, they really do lighten my load. They make me happy. They put a smile on my face. Okay, just so you know, just putting it out there for you. Anyway, let's get into some news from the Associated Press. Haiti's new prime minister vows to seek unity after he is selected by Transitional Council. Haiti's newly chosen prime minister, Gary Canel, I'm going to come back and regret how I said that, I'm sure. But we're going to go with Canelli, vowed to seek unity Wednesday in his first statement since a transitional council selected him to head the government in the troubled Caribbean country under siege by criminal gangs. Which, by the way, that shit's still going on, with barbecue, gang leader or police guy turned gang leader. That's obviously still ongoing. Kenya is still, potentially going to be getting involved, with their military police situation. Anyway, Canel, I cannot land on how I really should have researched that. Oopsie. Canel thanked the civil society groups, political parties, and members of the Haitian diaspora who proposed him as a candidate, saying he was very honored to have been chosen. Together we will work for a better tomorrow for all the children of our nation, he wrote on X, the social media platform in Haitian Creole. Canel submitted his resignation Tuesday as UNICEF's regional director for Latin America and the Caribbean, a post he has held since January 2023. He previously served as Prime Minister of Haiti from October of 2011 to May of 2012 under then President Michel Martelly, who was former chief of staff to Bill Clinton in the ex-president's role as UN Special Envoy to Haiti. So there you go. There's some resume stats for you there. Actually, there's some more. Keep reading. Canel studied medicine and public health and helped develop healthcare in impoverished communities in Haiti, where he helped coordinate reconstruction efforts after the devastating 2010 earthquake. He also served as a UN development specialist before becoming a regional director with UNICEF. So definitely some strong, moral bona fides. That's the word I'm looking for. Yes. And that's good. Hopefully, he's going to be up to this task. Some more I wanted to kind of pull from. The prime minister shares executive power with the presidency, which has been vacant in Haiti since the July 2021 assassination of President Jovenel Moïse, whose death left a power vacuum that criminal gangs began to take advantage later that year. Let's see. In addition to choosing the prime minister, the transitional council is tasked with arranging presidential elections before early 2026. So that's, the next thing. I know that they're going to be working on like building up a cabinet, like presidential cabinet, all that kind of stuff. That's a burp somewhere. Excuse me. They do go through some other people. Also, there was like a whole interim prime minister that I realized I did not talk about. Prime Minister Michel Patrick Boisvert, who was in power while Prime Minister Ariel Henry had resigned. They were like pretty adamant to like get him out because he was kind of like lingering and being like, oh, I'm just holding things down. I've just been holding things down since, the president was assassinated. That's all. And it just was seeing like, okay, yeah, but things aren't getting any better. And like, we're not getting any closer to getting a new president. You've outrun your term. So like, we really got to get you out of here. We really got to get a new guy in here. We really got to get things started. So I want to say that this is a good step because it seems like we've now fully cycled forward. Hopefully, like I said, with the Kenyan, potential assistance and, this new, Haitian government kind of getting on its legs, hopefully, fingers crossed, knock on some wood, I don't know. Maybe we can see some positive change. Hopefully you don't have to see like, kind of some of the stories we've covered before where it's literally like the people literally just being scared, moving bit to bit, day to day and until like, okay, we finally had enough and like, we're going to like, execute a gang member or something just to like, fight back or something. Cause I mean, that's not how this shit should be. So obviously, let's see here. Was there anything else I really wanted to pull from this article? No, I think we're good. Let's go ahead and move on to the next beat. Keeping it kind of, oh no, we're doing a different region. We're going from Haiti. We're going to South Africa. Let's see here. From the Associated Press. South Africa heads for coalition country as partial election results put ruling ANC well below 50%. All right, let's read into this a little bit. South Africa was heading closer to the reality of a national coalition government for the first time and a series of complex negotiations to achieve that as partial election results Friday put the ruling African National Congress well short of a majority. With more than 65% of the votes counted across the country's 9 provinces, the ANC, which has held a majority for 30 years since the end of apartheid, had received just under 42% of the national vote in Wednesday's election, according to the partial results as counting continued. That represented a huge drop from the 57.5% it received in the last election in 2019, although there was still some way to go. But yeah, I mean, there's been a long fall from grace for the ANC, a party that essentially was, filled in this vacuum, at the end of the apartheid, led by Nelson Mandela. And definitely I can understand how that luster can kind of be strong and like you're really carrying on a legacy and it's almost like more than the party and you want to believe in all that. But when I look at this and like, I'm still trying to make heads and tails of this fucking political shit. I'm just a fucking guy from Ohio. But I just remember like coming into this shit for the first time and hearing like Cyril Ramaphosa. And I remember the first time I even covered anything from like South Africa, it was the corruption that was going on in that situation. And I felt scared and timid because I'm like, I don't know heads or tails of this shit then. And I still don't now. But like, it's like, this guy sounds really bad, but yet he was dapping up Nelson Mandela, so like he can't be that bad, right? Clearly I'm just dumb and like not with it, but then you learn the details and it's like, no, like he shouldn't have had money in his fucking bed. He shouldn't have had like, all this like extra shit in his farm or whatever the fuck was going on there. Like, this is corruption. It's just plain and simple. And then it kind of made me, think about like how I view the Tories. And I go, man, these motherfuckers have been in power for like over a decade. And it's like, not to mention just Tories are just awful in terms of like their political ideology or whatever, and you just think about in general because it's just letting down the people, it feels like. And it's like, but yet the people have just let this happen for years and years and years, and it's like, when is it going to change? And it looks like, in both of these situations, kind of tying this all together, it looks like people are finally just done. It looks like they're finally like having enough. They had said that the voter turnout in South Africa was like kind of hitting record highs, like people really turning out, which does not bode well for the ANC, considering they kind of just wanted to have the old faithful just kind of come out and vote. They don't want to see any young voters, any new voters, because most likely they're coming out with a chip on their shoulder saying, we want some change. Now let's see here. I know that there are, the parties, and if I was a good podcaster, I'd have those queued up for you. Let's see here. The three other major parties are the centrist main opposition Democratic Alliance, the far left Economic Freedom Fighters, and the new MK party led by former South African President Jacob Zuma, who once led the ANC. A little bit more. Should the ANC lose its majority, it would also have implications for President Cyril Ramaphosa. South Africans vote for parties in elections, and the president is then chosen by lawmakers in parliament. If it loses the majority, the ANC would need help from other parties to re-elect Ramaphosa for a second term. I mean, honestly, I don't think Ramaphosa should even be in the conversation. It's crazy that he still is. Like, he's been fucking doing Neo-Matrix shit. Yeah, beating these goddamn allegations. I would definitely say that, yeah, it's maybe time to pack it in. But I don't know, man. I figured, hey, we at least kind of go and talk about it. I know it, like, the ink isn't even dry on this shit yet. I know that they're going to probably get some solid concrete results, what they said by like the end of this weekend, but I figured, hey, let's just go ahead and get on it, talk about it right now, and then if there's any, new or bigger updates, we'll definitely come back and revisit this. And there's more details and numbers and blah, 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 but y'all know I'm not good with that shit. So let's go ahead and move on to another thing that is way above my pay grade and puts me way out of my depth. Let's go to China and let's talk about some Hong Kong politics. From NBC News, 14 pro-democracy activists found guilty of subversion in Hong Kong's biggest national security case. All right, let's dig in. A Hong Kong court on Thursday found 14 of 16 pro-democracy activists guilty of conspiring to subvert the state in the Chinese territory's single largest case under a sweeping national security law imposed by Beijing. The three judges handpicked by the government to hear the case acquitted two of the defendants, former district councilors Lawrence Lau and Li Yushun, who I have to add here, I kind of want to implore you to look up these two, especially Li Yushun, because they both have drip. They both have mean ass court drip. Like, I know we just got out of the Trump case. Like, that shit was boring by comparison. I mean, I don't know. I just liked the vibe of the court swag. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Let's see here. Making them the first national security law defendants to be found not guilty after the trial, which is a crazy statistic to be like, yeah, they had a 100% conviction rate on these kind of things, but these two guys are like, oh, we couldn't actually prove that they had intention to subvert our government. And this is like a whole fucking thing. It's very deep and like hard to explain, and I'm not gonna do well here, but I know that like we're talking like two kind of ideologies in the same country. Like, and that's very weird, right? Because you have Hong Kong that was left at, 1997 as a democracy, and they have that for 50 years. And then it's supposed to be dissolved into whatever Beijing, China, the whole wants it to be as like, imagine a communist situation. So it's very weird to me to see that, because I try to equate that as like an American, right? Like, that would be like what if there was like a communist enclave in New York and it was allowed for X amount of years. And you would think then, well, it's like America, like they would do everything that they could to be like, no, that's not going to happen, right? Like we're going to stop that. But of course, if you're this group in this enclave, that's what you want, right? Like that's what you're gonna keep fighting for tooth and nail, because like that's a certain kind of freedom that you've always maybe wanted or what have you. So this is it. You don't want to go to that. So it's a very interesting situation that every time I look at it, because I go, okay, like if this is what the people want, I've tried to say this before on any kind of other like, political kind of situation I kind of dive into. I try to look at and what I hear and see, and if I see overall a big swath of people going, hey, we want this. This is what we're fighting for, whether it's democracy, whether it's like, I don't know, an oligarchy or whatever. You want to get weird with it, fine. If everyone's matching the freak, then who am I to fucking speak against it? But I also get then how a nation state's going to be like, no, we don't want this. And we're going to go out of our way to make sure that this isn't this way and you guys coalesce to what we want. So I can see how these things are at odds. I can see how like Beijing, from the start of this situation is like, we are going to impose all kinds of will on this. And even though we agreed, to this 50-year thing, we are going to try to make that as short as possible. But then obviously, I would say, yeah, my mind, my heart, everything goes to the people who are like, hey, we want a democracy. This is what we want. We want to keep this, at least for the terms that we have it. And then we can go from there. You know what I mean? I think that is maybe the most right thing. So that's kind of where I'm leaning and throwing my hat out, I guess, if you want to know how I feel about it. But I feel like I don't know. I feel like I get it. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong here. And if I'm explaining this totally fucking wrong and you know better, crawl into my DMs. Let me know. Like I feel like I can take that kind of constructive criticism, and I would love to get educated so I can tell this shit maybe like, I don't know, a little better. But let's see here. I'm sure I should read a little bit more. Obviously, you can just kind of stick to the script. What script? The defendants are among 47 politicians, academics, and other pro-democracy figures who were charged with conspiracy to commit subversion over their involvement in an unofficial primary election. Those who were convicted, along with 31 others, who pleaded guilty, will be sentenced at a later date with potential prison terms ranging from 3 years to life. I mean, that's obviously very, very fucking serious time to be looking at just for like speaking out. Critics say the trial symbolizes the decline of freedoms in the international financial hub amid a crackdown on dissent following mass anti-government protests in 2019. Most of the 47 have been held without bail since being charged in early 2021. I'm actually looking at a picture of Lawrence Lau, once again, dripped out, like fucking, what's it, like a black pinstripe suit? Sheesh, fitted. I'm just saying. Let's see here. I mean, there's just like there's a lot of details, but I feel like I just wanted to kind of draw attention to it. I'm sure we are going to be coming back to the story again in terms of sentencing or maybe any kind of more political action. It's a lot to talk about, and I just find it super fucking interesting, and I know that it's important. So I really do want to try to get my head and wrap my head around it, and maybe try to find a way to vocalize it better, tell the story better. But that's where I want to maybe start and stop it there with that. Let's kind of step out of the politics, y'all. Normally I love talking about politics. I can do it till I'm blue in the face, but I feel very stupid now, and I kind of want to, even though I'm moving from like the frying pan to a whole other fucking thing that I'm out of my depth. We're gonna talk about cyber shit, cybercrime. This feels safer to me for some reason. From Reuters. 4 arrested in major European cybercrime sting. Okay, all right. Got a little cybercrime. I don't know why I use that. I know why I use that accent. We're in Europe. Anyway, 4 people have been arrested in Ukraine and Armenia, and more than 100 internet servers taken down or disrupted in a major sting operation targeting international cybercrime that has impacted thousands of people, Europol said on Thursday. Carried out between May 27th and 29th, the European Union's law enforcement agency called it the largest ever operation against botnets, which play a major role in the deployment of ransomware. Let's see here. Dismantled botnets included Iced ID, SmokeLoader, SystemBC, Peekabot, and Bumblebee, it added. The sting, dubbed Operation Endgame, was initiated and led by France, Germany, and the Netherlands. It involved several other countries, including Britain, the United States, and Ukraine, Europol said in a statement. With the international Operation Endgame, our investigative authorities have succeeded in dealing the biggest and most significant blow against cybercrime to date. German Interior Minister Nancy Faeser, sure, said in a statement. Let's see. The lengthy police investigation disrupted infrastructure from which massive attacks with ransomware originate worldwide, in which data is captured, encrypted, and then victims are blackmailed. Let's see. Thousands of victims will be alerted so that they can protect themselves from other ransomware attacks, the French prosecutor said in a statement. So yeah, I mean, overall, that's cool, good news. We love to see cyber crimes thwarted, though. I mean, it's crazy to also see sometimes the get back that some of these cybercrime organizations can kind of do. Like, yeah, maybe they get like busted up and like maybe they go dark or go silent for like, I don't know, a year or X amount of time, but then they can just come roaring back, you know? But yeah, you know, from one cybercrime to another, we have one more thing I wanted to hit, and this is kind of maybe a little bit of a tie in some tether, a little bit of Ticketmaster action, a little bit of cybercrime action coming together, making them kiss. Mwah. Anyway, let me take my last break and we'll go ahead and get into that story. Ooh. From CBS News. Hacking group claims it breached Ticketmaster and stole data for 560 million customers. So that's crazy. Obviously, this is adding to the Ticketmaster Live Nation woes. They're being sued by the Department of Justice. But apparently, they have been a victim of a group called the Shiny Hunters. But yeah, the group named Shiny Hunters said in an online forum that the stolen data includes the names, addresses, phone numbers, and partial credit card details of Ticketmaster customers. The group's post said the data was available for purchase for $500,000 in a one-time sale. You never want to see that if you're, a company, that you guys have been breached and that they are auctioning off or like giving off your money or giving off this information to like the highest bidder. Let's see. The Australian government said Thursday is investigating the claims, and the FBI has offered assistance to Australian authorities. A spokesperson for the U.S. Embassy in Canberra told agents France Presse. France Presse, sure. French press? Parlez-vous français? No. The Australian government is aware of a cyber incident impacting Ticketmaster. A spokesperson for the Australia Home Affairs Department said in a statement to CBS News. The National Office of Cybersecurity is engaging with Ticketmaster to understand the incident. The department also urged people with specific inquiries relating to this incident to contact Ticketmaster. Ticketmaster said its parent company Live Nation haven't issued statements on the possible breach, which is not good. I always hate when you see a company and you like this is making news rounds and you guys are quiet. Like that is just as damning. Like it's better to just come out and say, "Hey, we have a problem. We are looking to deal with it." Da 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 da. But it's almost like they're taking the route of like, "Hey, we're dealing with this privately" type shit. So I mean, who knows if that means that they're maybe even going to try to pay it off maybe themselves. You never know in these situations, though. It's advised to not do that. They say that's bad to do, for reasons we've gotten to before, yada, yada, yada. But who knows how this is going to go, and who knows exactly how deep that information is. Obviously, we've said it before, like, it's super scary to have your information exposed like that, and you don't know how bad it could be, am I gonna get my actual credit card information actually stolen or something like that, or is it actually something a little bit more light and I don't have anything to worry about? You never know. Let's read a little bit more though about Shiny Hunters. Shiny Hunters became notorious in 2020 to 21 when it exposed huge troves of customer records from more than 60 companies, according to the U.S. Justice Department. In January, a court in Seattle jailed Sebastien Raoult, a French computer hacker who was a member of Shiny Hunters. Let's see. He was sentenced to 3 years in prison in order to pay more than $5 million in restitution after pleading guilty to conspiracy to commit wire fraud and aggravated identity theft. But that's kind of what I was saying, right? Like they can kind of go dormant, maybe not be as like prolific or like noticeable, but then they can just kind of come roaring back, you know? Let's see here. Was there anything else I really wanted to say here? No, they kind of go back to the Justice Department suing Live Nation. You know, we already know about that. Let's see here. I think that's it. I think that's all we have for today. Looks like we've made it to the end. Not too bad on time. I know, a little rough for wear. I'm sorry about it, but I thank you guys for just, guys, gals, and bees, just for hanging out and listen to me yap about some news, or at least attempt to, and, talk about my daily. It's always nice, That's why we call this a blog first, maybe news second. I don't know. Sometimes we do a little bit of whatever. Anyway, let's see. If you'd like to help out, support the effort, I do have a Patreon, patreon.com/Isaiah News. Become a newsie today. Feel free to hit me up either, email isaiahnews1@gmail.com or any of the socials. You can find me or the podcast there. And then let's see. Hopefully you subscribe to the YouTube. Really helps out a lot if you are not, to just subscribe, because then that's cool for my algorithms and stuff. Liking episodes are always great and cool. Leaving cool comments are awesome, inspiring even. And sharing is caring. So yeah, really means a lot. But really just you being a listener, just you tuning in to hear me, like I said, just yap about whatever is really just the peach. It's really the prize. So thank you so much for that. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.